Hello, so this video I'm just going to be talking about something I've been meditating on, which is why abiogenesis is utterly impossible to prove in a laboratory scenario, and it is simply this. If you were to design an experiment that you could carry out in a laboratory that would allow you to create even simple living organisms out of non-living material, what you actually have just done is proven that an intelligent life form, a living being, can create a living being. You have not proven that life can arise without the intermediation of another living creature, or I should say another living entity. The only thing that could actually ever be even used as any kind of evidence for abiogenesis would be if you found an area or an environment that, to the best of your knowledge, has never had any intelligence or any life form of any kind whatsoever interact with it, and then from this place where no life has ever been, no intelligence has ever interacted with, then life just spontaneously arises and you just observe it happening without doing anything. But since all of the experiments that are attempting to prove abiogenesis or to provide evidence for it require the mediation of a human being, by nature, these cannot be used as proof of abiogenesis. These cannot be used as evidence for abiogenesis, because the very fact that you are mediating it means it's not a life that is arising by itself. It is life that you are creating. So this is just something to think about. And also, I will say, even if you were able to see living cells just pulling themselves together with absolutely no external, visible, detectable mediation, this is actually not even good enough as proof that life is arising by itself and assembling itself, because ultimately speaking, there is no empirical way to say conclusively that there is not a spiritual thing at work here, whereby a spirit, which is definitionally non-physical, doesn't have to have flesh and blood, and is therefore not necessarily empirical in front of you at any given point in space-time. So a spiritual entity, say God, could be just moving all these particles together, making them collect together. Empirically, it would appear as though that they were collecting together on their own, but in actuality, there is a spirit that is assembling it, assembling the physical components, and then setting them to work, to live, and to have their being. So, in fact, as with everything else, it is literally impossible to disprove the biblical answer about where life came from, even if you actually did manage to find a pool that had no life in it, where life literally spontaneously arose, and you could prove that there was no physical external interaction that caused it to happen. It just did it by itself. That still would not prove that God wasn't doing it, because God, being non-physical, being a spirit, is able to interact with everything without actually physically being there, because his very nature is that God is a spirit, and therefore is not a being of flesh and blood. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. God bless you. Have a great day.